What is up, everybody? Glad to be back with you today. It's been a little while. I think it's been maybe about 5 or 6 weeks since I posted a video. Kind of had a lot going on in the personal life. Been very busy. Thanks to everybody who has reached out and said, we continue to wish you good health. Appreciate that. I am definitely, for the most part, feeling pretty good. Obviously, as all of us get a little older, we still have a few things to work on. Like my blood pressure is a little bit high, but gotta clean that up a little bit. Anyways, so I did want to make a video today to talk about the post here by Jerry. Now, typically I don't respond to or comment on any other YouTubers' posts for the most part. I know how much effort goes into making videos and this and that, and I guarantee you that when Jerry posted this video, he knew he was going to take a lot of shit. So, I learned very early on that I do not post negative videos, and this is why, right? Is kind of the fallout that you can get, and usually when you post something with an opinion kind of that strong, there's a lot of people that come out with different opinions, right? And so anyways, the point of this video is not to bash Jerry. That's not the point. The point is to discuss each of the points that he brought up in his video that are probably considered opportunities or possibly weaknesses or whatever, right? And some of the things that he highlighted, I've highlighted over the last couple of years multiple times. And I'll highlight them again today that I think we could improve upon. There's other things that I think he just simply kind of got wrong. And I'll talk about that as well. All right. So if you haven't seen Jerry's video, he basically posted it the other day. Kind of insinuated Jasmy to zero. This looks like a complete rug pull. Yada yada, and posted a bunch of different points. So to respond, and this is in no particular order, I wrote myself a little outline with about 10 points here that I kind of want to go through. So I'm going to pull that up now. So first of all, point number one, that Jasmy is weak on blockchain. I agree with him. All right. And here's what I mean. So who is the face of Jasmy blockchain, right? Who's the face of it? And the reason I ask that question is when I think about Polkadot, I think of Gavin Wood. When I think of Ethereum, I think of Vitalik. When I think of Cardano, I think of Hoskinson. You think of Binance, BNB Coin, you think of CZ, right? There's usually somebody who's that person, right? The blockchain person. And so with Jasmy in particular, Masanobu Yoshida, the MY of Jasmy, he is the one that created Jasmy Net in partnership with Centrality. And that was kind of the first inkling of blockchain. Now, prior to that, Yoshida was a device maker at Sony. So he made things like the Sony CLI, the PDA. This is kind of like the device that came out before smartphones. And you could put, appointments in a calendar and things like that. That's basically what he did. So they brought him on as a hired gun. That's kind of their track record. That's what they do with Jasmy, is they bring on hired guns to accomplish tasks, right? So the problem is that the partnership with Centrality didn't pan out. And the reason why is the throughput wasn't good enough and the gas fees were too expensive, right? So they spent a lot of time working on that partnership and it didn't work out. So it's kind of back to the drawing board, right? Now, Hara, the CFO of Jasmy, and arguably the most widely known person probably on X, aka Twitter, for Jasmy, announced that the Jasmy chain is a project coming out of Jasmy Labs, which is Hara's company, right? So the question then is Hara a blockchain expert? I would argue that he is not, and I don't think he's ever been. Hara is an accountant. He is the chief financial officer, CFO, right? Does Jasmy need a blockchain expert or advisor? Absolutely. I've been saying this one for a while too. And, Jerry kind of brought this up in the video that typically they would hire somebody to answer all these questions, to get all these things in the works. And it's kind of a bit of a head scratcher why they have not. All right. So some of the points I make here is that, I originally thought that the ambassador program could fill this exact role, right? The way I pictured the ambassador program, I pictured however many of us they chose, that we could meet in kind of a discussion behind the scenes, talk about marketing, clean some of these things up, talk about some things that probably need to be added to the website, work on fine-tuning, et cetera, et cetera. That is not what the ambassador program is, all right? What I have learned since that time is the ambassador program is kind of like an acknowledgement of your past efforts. That's it. So there is no conversation behind the scenes with the ambassadors and Jasmy. There isn't one, all right? There is no private phone call once a month, every 2 weeks. Nope. There is no plan with the ambassadors to roll out some great marketing or something like that. Nope, it's not there, right? And, I would say that some of this stuff is kind of what led to my bit of an absence that, not to be bearish, because it's really not bearish. It's more so just, I think, a disagreement of opinion where I think we could do a heck of a lot more with this. But if I'm on an island on that point, then I guess it is what it is, right? So I made a note here that Jasmy needs a blockchain expert because Hara, frankly, doesn't know what he doesn't know. And I think that's true, right? And for the company with the track record of bringing on the hired guns, it's surprising that they haven't done this. So if you look at the Jasmy website, Sheng Guo is listed on their list of people, and he's sort of the blockchain person. And if you ever look into his background, he used to work for Centrality. So that's kind of where he comes from, right? But what's kind of odd is that they'd never have him talking about blockchain publicly anywhere. There is no public interview with him, public-facing anything with him talking about blockchain. So overall, is Jasmy somewhat weak on blockchain? I think they're definitely weak on blockchain promotion. And, there's a few other things too, like with the website. Well, I'll get into that in a few minutes. In comparison to some of the others, it's just completely different. Okay. So with that point alone, the blockchain side of it, yes, I agree with you. I think they're weak, and I think there's some opportunities there. Now, could they get a lot stronger when Jasmy Chain comes out? Absolutely. The Jasmy wallet. Yep. The data exchange. Right. All these things kind of need to come to fruition. Right. So regarding the website, marketing presentation is sloppy, doesn't follow the blockchain website template. I agree with you. Okay. Now, I made a note here to say see ICP or a star. So Jerry apparently is a big promoter of Internet Computer. This is another crypto project. And I went to their website, and I want to show you what that looks like. So here is the Internet Computer website, right? Cyberspace is cloud, Internet Computer, Cloud 3.0, Web 3.0, yada, yada. We got this cool spinning graph. It's animated, right? We have down scrolling. We've got blocks processed, Ethereum equivalent, throughput transactions, autonomous cloud. This looks exactly like a million other blockchain websites. They all follow the same kind of template where it's geared specifically at blockchain, right? And it's kind of this scrolling down website. We talk about what is it, how does it work. We scroll down further. Open chat raised 1 million ICP in 6 hours. Got some news updates. We have partners, all these things, right? Likewise, if I go over to a star, so here is a star's website. So a star is What happened to my video there? I think my video cut out. Anyway, a star has an animated site here, right? It unlocks blockchain, right? Right off the bat, we're talking about blockchain. At the top, we're talking about a star 2.0. We're talking about network, developers, community, right? Welcome to a star, right? 50 plus dApps, 500,000 community members. These are pretty good stats, right? 2023 star map, right? A star Japan lab. Join our growing ecosystem, right? Developer, collator, staker, user. Recommended reading, right? Here's where you can get caught up on all things a star. Multi-chain smart contracts. Build to earn, Web 2, Web 3. Here's all our partners, right? You know, you can see where they all follow this same sort of template. Now, going back to Internet Computer, if you click further in there, there is a site over here that shows their actual real-time blockchain stats, right? Blocks, transactions, ETH equivalent, right? All these things we were talking about earlier. Here's all the nodes on their map around the world, right? Here's everybody that is setting up the Internet Computer network with the various nodes. All these basically are just little computers, and they're all securing the network, okay? All kinds of stats. We got graphs, you know, finalization rate, conversion rate, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff is in here, right? Now, let's go to the Jasmy website, okay? So here is the official Jasmy website, and this is the Japan site. So if I just start scrolling down, does this look anything at all like those other two? No, it doesn't. It's not even close, right? It talks about data democratization, IoT. It does mention the word blockchain here, okay? Where's like the list of the partners, right? It's not even on here. Where are any of those other pieces of information? Where are the real-time blockchain stats? They're not here. None of that stuff is on here. And this website is completely different, right? At the top now, a dance contest for characters created from Sagantosu fan tokens is underway, right? If you read this, you were like, what? Like, what does this have to do with blockchain? And this is where I think you can really see the obvious, in the obvious way that Jasmy is very different from other cryptocurrency projects, right? Here's another one with the dancing bird from Sagantosu. That's the Japanese football team, right? AKA soccer. You know, here's a link to Secure PC, okay? This was one of the things that Jerry brought up, the where are the real products? Well, here's an obvious one right here. You just had to do about 3 clicks. Never did that, right? So you could go in here. You could click on Secure PC. Okay, there we go. So Jasmy Secure PC. Try it first, free trial, right? Do you have this problem? And it's basically geared towards telework and managing telework, either contractors or employees remotely is exactly what Secure PC does through their Ghost Drive, etc. Right? And we can monitor, see what that specific person is doing. Are they actually doing their job? Yes or no? And if they are, how effective are they? And, you know, things like this are really important when you have a remote workforce. For example, you could have some people that they work every morning for the first 3 hours of the day, and then they don't do anything the whole rest of the day, right? Is that really being productive? Probably not. You could have somebody else who works all day long, right? They work all their hours. They accomplish what they need to. You could also look at this and you could say, I've got somebody who works all day long, but they don't accomplish anything, right? I got another guy that works 3 hours and accomplishes everything. Who's more efficient here, right? So there's all kinds of things that you can do with Secure PC. Here is, you know, monthly usage fee for one device, price in yen, tax included. Jasmy Secure PC, right? So there's a real product with Jasmy. But going back to the idea of the websites is that Jasmy is not your typical blockchain project. I've been saying that forever. And, you know, the funny thing, too, was in Jerry's video, he scrolled past multiple videos of mine. Of course, he never once clicked on one. might have learned something if you clicked on the video, but whatever, regardless. I think the point with the websites is that it highlights that this is not a blockchain first project. Jasmy is a idea first project made by device makers, software creators. It's not today's new generation of blockchain people running this company, and it's, you know, some guy who's 27 working out of his bedroom and, you know, 30 people from around the world. That's not what Jasmy is, right? So anyhow, I mentioned here that I think the website is reflective of kind of the old guard, the device builders, software engineers versus the sort of computer nerds of today, right? And I think that's 100% true. Hara has previously said this within AMA, that there is sort of two different groups within this company. There's the older side. These are all the Sony guys, right? All these old Sony executives. And then there's this newer side that is Hara, it's Akira-san, as well as, you know, a few others that they've brought on. Like if you see the account on X, Udon, like that's another one, right? There's a few other people in there. There are no real-time blockchain stats, right? Jasmy has another website, Jasmy Global, that I'm not sure when or why it was created. There have been different websites at different points in time. This is one of my critiques, that why would you have different websites? It leads to inconsistent messaging. Get rid of it, right? And on that site, they did post some stats. Now, however, when our group was researching that, they were not real time, right? So it's not like on the Internet Computer site where you're looking at real time stats. That wasn't there. Could they post real time stats here on the Jasmy page? Yes, they could. Do they? No. But could they? Yep, I think they could. There's no network info, right? Where are all the nodes? Don't know, right? How's the network secured? Don't know. These are all those questions that, from a blockchain person, you look at this and you go, this screams scam or rug pull, because they're not sharing any of this stuff. They're a lot more proprietary about it and not as forthcoming and sort of community-driven software for all. Like that's not really what this is here, right? No wallet yet, okay? If there was a wallet, you could put your Jasmy in it and you could connect it to the network. We're still waiting on that, Jasmy Super Wallet. No map of nodes securing the network, as I just said, right? So completely different websites between Jasmy and Internet Computer, or even a Star. And, you know, a bit of an irony here is that I do know that Hara follows a Star, and you would think that at least somewhere in the Jasmy page, they could make a blockchain tab and say, if you click on this, here's all our blockchain info, and kind of make that look like a Stars page. I mean, the template's already there. They just have to copy it, right? But they haven't done that. Moving down. Ando. So Ando was brought up in the video. Ando is 81 years old. 81, right? He's getting up there, right? Regarding Ando's involvement, so a source, a trusted source, told me essentially that he's in the office a couple days a week and likes to go out with the team for drinks. And honestly, if I was 81 and a former president of Sony, you know, arguably inspiration for Steve Jobs, right? I would probably be doing the same thing, right? At that point in your life, I think the hard lifting for your role is probably over. And at this point, you're more conceptual. And I think that's exactly where Ando is. Now, Jasmy, as I mentioned before, is a legacy project for Ando, because Ando has stated through AMA that there are no tier 1 tech companies in Japan on par with Apple, Google, etc. which again ties into why create this company in Japan in the first place, right? When the environment has been very anti-crypto until just recently, all right? Japan has been anti-crypto the whole time. Jasmy Co Ltd has been a company, which is from April of 2016. And I want to say also it was founded on the same day as Bitcoin's birthday, Satoshi's birthday, something like that, right? Now, Ando, I also know this, has said that he thinks one day everyone in Japan could be using Jasmy. And he's not wrong. I mean, he really isn't, right? I mean, this is a guy that's kind of seen the world. It is possible, but it comes down to execution, right? Ando is in the Avita laptop picture, published basically to show off their partnership between Avita and Jasmy for the blockchain laptop. Found it. All right. Moving on down. So anyway, that was a search that was as simple as Avita blockchain laptop, and it took, 3 minutes. All right. Where's the proof of what they built? Okay. So this was brought up. Patents, I want to say there's like 9 of them. Okay. Various people have posted various links on Twitter, for example, or Reddit, Low Bidman, or Icy Amphibian. That's probably your go-to for Jasmy Patents. I know Icy has broken down the most recent patent that they had published, so there are multiple patents that are out there. Secure PC partnership, right, with Transcosmos, a global billion-dollar company that exists. This is true. There's multiple links to Jasmy and Transcosmos, as well as we have Avita and Vio laptops that are considered blockchain PCs. So that's out there, real product, right? Sagantosu fan token app. If you were to go into your app store on your cell phone, you would find Sagantosu fan token app. And then outside of that, the other big items, the big nuggets that should be coming here right around the corner between now and March. So if right now it's mid-November, we basically got, let's say, a 4.5 month window. We have the Jasmy chain, the Jasmy super wallet, and the Jasmy data exchange, right? Those are all in the works. And so, this is one of those criticisms, by the way, that I think is somewhat unfair, because when you compare this to other cryptocurrency projects, nobody just starts off with everything done. No one does that. I mean, look at Cardano. That's one of the biggest knocks against Cardano, is that they are endlessly testing, endlessly working, endlessly building, endlessly developing. And it's like, where's the real product I can use, right? That's what Jerry kept saying in this video. Where's the thing I can use, right? And Cardano never had anything there for a long time, a really long time, right? Very few do, and it takes a lot of time. I mean, it takes years to build this stuff. And the problem that Jasmy ran into is that the centrality partnership for the blockchain took years, and it didn't work. All right, so the problem with it was it wasn't cheap enough, and we couldn't get enough transactions. So that doesn't work for a company like Transcosmos, a billion-dollar company, right? We needed something more efficient, higher throughput, right? More transactions per second, cheaper gas fees. That's where the Jasmy chain comes in. And so there's somewhat of a delay there. And I think it's a bit of a trial and error in the sense that you have a company started by the old guard Sony executives, device makers. Blockchain is not their bread and butter. They tried to go the blockchain route, but it just didn't work out. It had its limitations. And so now they're going a new route with the Jasmy chain, their own proprietary chain. It takes time to make this. And so, again, going back to this letter D here, Jasmy, even though it's been a company since 2016, It's only been a listed cryptocurrency since 2021, I want to say beginning of the year. And so they're still in their first cycle, their first Bitcoin cycle. So that's not really a fair comparison on that. Going on down. Jasmy leaders' lack of talking about Jasmy / inconsistent messaging. I agree, right? I agree with that point. Now, the marketing, in my own personal opinion, has been historically weak. I think it's been inconsistent, and I think it's often poorly presented. All right, this isn't the first time I've said this either. I've said this numerous times. It's not documented in any one place, and there are multiple sources of information in multiple languages. All right, I've said it before. You know, our team, and when I say our team, I mean a lot of it's Brian, a lot of it's Dip Metaverse. A few other guys, JB. I mean, there's a ton of people that do just tons and tons of research, right? I mean, we found AMAs in China, in Japan, India. You know, they're kind of all over the place, right? Different websites, different points in time. Maybe that publication's still up, maybe it isn't. Half the time, Brian finds all this stuff through the Wayback Machine. I didn't even know that existed. I thought that was just a thing from, what is it? It's like Sherman and Mr. Peabody. where they go in the Wayback Machine, right? But that's a real thing. So you can do that on the internet, and you can go back in time, and you can see things that aren't there today, right? Brian knows how to do that. I don't know how to do that. But the point, though, is that multiple sources of information in multiple languages, right? So it's very hard to follow this. And you've got a project based in Japan where a lot of the language is Japanese. Not all of it, but a lot of it. There's that kind of disconnect. You've got Japan is on an island, right? It's by itself out there. There's some issues there, okay? Now, Sato, the guy on the left here, so he is the main promoter of Jasmy Co Ltd, right? Ando, though he has a role that, you know, I think it says like representative director, I view him more of like an advisor. Like he's flying over the top. I think they're probably riding his coattails on a lot of connections from things that he did at Sony, from his name, his reputation. I think that's true. I would like to see them go beyond that. I'll talk about that in a minute also. All right. Jasmy's leaders are not easy to find on YouTube. I would say that's probably true. Okay. Sato's videos are all in Japanese. He is in multiple videos. I've seen them. Lil Bibman posts them all the time, right? Here's another one with him, right? And they're always in Japanese. He's got the one where he's sitting on the talk show and he's got the bear with the light bulb on his head sitting next to him. That one was kind of funny. There was one he did a few months, maybe like 6 months ago. It's got like purple black lights behind him, stuff like that. He's been on multiple videos, but usually they're all Japanese, even though I do know through a source that he speaks pretty good English. So why he isn't out in more English videos, that's an opportunity, okay? Hara doesn't make videos. This is true also, right? Hara is learning Japanese as a second language. And I've seen it posted on Twitter that when you're comparing English and Japanese, it's like completely reverse of a language. Like the first word of the sentence was exactly the same, and then the whole rest of it was completely backwards. So for Hara learning English, that's got to be really, really hard. And so he doesn't really post videos, right? He has posted audio. Well, I don't know if I'd say, yeah, I guess, you know, you could say he's posted it. He's presented at various conferences. I think he's trying, right? And that's a good thing. There are a couple of Jasmy commercials that the team created. The bigger issue is that it's always been hard to find Jasmy info and to read it in one place, right? I think that's true. Jasmy Management X account has problems. Agreed. I agree with you. Outdated links should be removed. Absolutely. Okay. The management account hasn't posted in a month, should be posting multiple times a day, week, a month. That's what I think. I think it should be posting all the time. Because if you look at other blockchain projects, the main accounts, they post every single day. There's 2-3 posts every single day, right? The biggest thing here, I've been saying this for 2 years now. I'll keep saying it, right? This is why I tell everybody. I spit logic out into the universe, and whether anyone listens or not, oh well. I'll just keep saying it. Hire a marketing manager, right? This highlights the need for a marketing manager for simple and consistent messaging. Okay, the audience should not have to dig through 7 years of work. All info should be brought current. Okay. Highlight the ambassadors and others that have spent time and effort creating Jasmy content. I mean, all this stuff is obvious. I mean, these are the things that I would do if I was leading this thing. Okay. This bringing it current. In my daily life, if I'm looking through in my world, there are files, right? And these files, let's say if it's a big complex thing, let's say it's hypothetically 30 pages, right? I do not have time as a leader, as a person, or as a person who's looking for just general information to read 30 pages. Nobody does, right? Even in an email, if you send me an email that's like a novel, it's going straight in the trash can, right? I need one sentence and some bullets, right? Likewise, I shouldn't have to read through 30 pages just to figure out what's going on. It should always be brought current, okay? Has Jasmy brought current everything that they put out into the universe? No, they haven't, right? Some of it is on there, okay? Now, if you go to the Jasmy page, let me go over here. Let's see here. So here's the Jasmy site. They do have this news release area here, okay? So if you click on see more, is that loading? Yeah, there we go. So if you click on see more, we've got all kinds of different posts here from all of their things that they wanted to put out publicly, right? There is a lot of stuff in here. There's a lot. But I feel like this stuff could be organized better than the way it is in this current list, right? And somehow you need to bring forward everything from the past before you had this organized list, right? So there's probably an opportunity there for some improvement, all right? Now, going back to the ambassador program, I'm just one guy, right? By no means am I the know-all, be-all of all things Jasmy, not even the slightest. There are a lot of really, really good people that have made significant contributions that should be highlighted. I mean, obvious one, Lil Bidman has killed it on Reddit with Jasmy for years and years and years. Let's say 2 years. Then, I mean, you got other people, Dip Metaverse, right? He's maintaining the sheet that tracks all the coin movement, right? That's all him. Holy cow. And I know he just posted, I think just today, his picture with himself and Hara. He did a little trip to Japan, right? Dip does Japan. Look forward for more information on that. I do know, in talking to Dip, that was a productive trip. All right. There's numerous people that should probably be highlighted, for their efforts. And at the very least, just kind of say, hey, here's some of our partners from Twitter. Here's some of our partners from YouTube. If you want to learn more about Jasmy, go check out some of these accounts, right? And you could learn tons of information. But that's not posted anywhere. So somebody like Jerry who comes along and says, hey, where is everything? Well, he doesn't really know which accounts to look at or why, right? And he doesn't know who's posting valid information or crap, right? And so you kind of have this mixed bag of, just sort of figure it out on your own, right? And, some of that kind of ties back to, I should say this also, is that I think, I could be wrong, but I think from Japan, they assume that good work speaks for itself. I disagree, right? The reason I disagree is that you often have to put forth the narrative of what is happening. And if you don't do that, then there will be a void. And within that void, you could have your FUD, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt, okay? Moving on down. So Jerry mentioned the top wallet on Binance, right? He shows Binance 8 from Etherscan. And he said, they could dump at any point, this wallet, right? Well, you're not reading it correctly. Here's the thing. So Binance 8 isn't one person, right? That is multiple thousand people holding their Jasmy coins on the Binance exchange. It is also not CZ. This isn't like CZ in his personal piggy bank, right? These are the accounts of thousands of people. They're simply holding it on Binance. That's Binance 8. So saying that, Binance 8 is just going to dump, well, it doesn't work that way. You're kind of missing how this whole thing works to begin with. Regarding their ability to dump the coin, I noted it is also true that Binance can and has manipulated the token, right? See the move to the innovation zone. They have done this. Did they move ICP to the innovation zone? No, right? Because ICP has a website that shows blockchain stats in real time. This is something that Jasmy could probably do to get out of that innovation zone. That would go a long way, right? Also, speaking of Binance manipulation, the irony here is that the current market maker for Jasmy, DWF Labs, was suggested by the representative from Binance Japan. So I know that through recent AMA, right? So, to say that Binance wants it to fail isn't necessarily true, but you do have kind of mixed messaging out of Binance, because on the one hand, you made this move to the innovation zone that killed the chart. On the other hand, you have somebody who works for Binance saying, hey, if you want to get out of here, partner up with DWF Labs, a market maker, right? Build this thing up. Interesting. Talking about the Jasmy chart. So here's a statement, my own personal opinion. The lifetime chart is shit. Okay, I agree with that, right? It's down over 99%, largely due to dumping the coin in an accelerated pace combined with the worst bear market in history. It's kind of like multiple negative factors went into this at once, okay? Now, until the data exchange goes live, there is no deflationary mechanism unless there will possibly be staking on Jasmy chain, okay? So Cardano, for example, you can stake it. You can secure the network, right? Jasmy chain, if staking is a thing, you would do that through the super wallet. We got to see the super wallet. We got to see Jasmy chain, right? That would be a deflationary mechanism. There is no burn mechanism. We're not burning any tokens, okay? The deflationary part goes with the data exchange and the model for this whole thing that companies, the way this was engineered, are supposed to lock up Jasmy coin, right? And that would take it out of circulation. Now today, the chart is moving with the market and has recently surged on the chart alone, not because of any news, right? I can go to the chart here. So here's the current Jasmy chart, right? I mean, it's pumped. Was there any news that coincided with this huge green volume bar? Nope, none at all, right? But it did pump. And when you're looking at it, I always look at the moving averages, right? The 20, 50, 200. And so as these things cross, that's a bullish indicator, right? If the green one goes through the blue one, that's even more bullish, okay? I've said all along in this chart that it's really not going to move until we get crossings of these EMAs. That's kind of what's been happening lately. Pretty crazy, right? But the whole market is kind of waking up, right? Everybody's kind of keying in on this Bitcoin ETF, possibly going live at some point. There's a lot of rumblings of Bitcoin BlackRock, what that does. Everything rides Bitcoin, if you don't know, because of Bitcoin pairs, right? So Bitcoin builds the market up, it tears it down, and then if you're lucky, your altcoin can deviate if it's got enough stuff going on its own. And hopefully Jasmy can do that, all right? So there's the chart. Now, overall, though, this chart all time is down. And let me show this. This is the internet computer chart. So Jerry in his video kept talking about internet computer. Here's the internet computer chart. This is down over 99% all time as well, right? And look when it came out, right? 2021. Well, when did Jasmy come out? 2021. It's a very similar chart. I do remember when Internet Computer came out, and this is kind of funny. I remember it debuting like in the top 10, massive market cap overnight, and it dropped like a rock. This thing had like cement boots straight down. And I remember at the time thinking, how the hell does that debut in the top 10? That's never going to hold. Like it hasn't proven anything, right? There's no way it holds. And so what you see here is basically a ton of bag holders going all the way down. Now, not to say we haven't had that same issue with Jasmy, because we have had that same issue with Jasmy. It's also down 99% all time, but this is the first cycle, okay? Now, so I said here, the idea that Jasmy is going to zero because the coin has no utility is not necessarily true. And here's why. So there are multiple examples of coins with no utility with far greater market caps. This is true, right? SHIB, massive market cap. Doge, Pepe, even ADA, Cardano, right? No utility when it peaked other than to be staked. I mean, there was nothing there, right? And that was one of the knocks about it constantly. Hoskinson hates that, right? He hates that when people say that. I get it, you know. They were constantly working, constantly developing. They want to get it right. Cardano does a lot of like collegiate type papers and things like that, you know, to put this thing in the right direction. And I think, you know, with Jasmy, you could argue that potentially there's some of that type of stuff here, not necessarily with collegiate papers, but this idea of we got to get it right before we put something out there, right? So anyway, my point though is that the picture that Jerry posted about it, you know, going to zero, down arrow, that's not really accurate. And it, when you compare it to other cryptocurrencies, that whole thing kind of gets blown out of the water. I mentioned also, again here, the chart comparable with Internet Computer, right? Moving on down, Jasmy token. So it was mentioned in this video that it's an ERC token, has no utility. Agreed. I've said that publicly multiple times. There's no utility, right? The only thing that you can do with the current Jasmy token is buy it, sell it. That's it. Trade it. That's all you can do. This is why the Jasmy chain, the Jasmy wallet, these things have to come out so that you can actually use it with utility. That's the whole point, right? As Hara says, make monetize. That's what we want to do, right? The token does not give you ownership of the company. This is agreed. No cryptocurrency does that. Do you think because you own Bitcoin, you own part of the Bitcoin company? No. Do you own part of Ethereum? No. So again, you know, this was kind of like a crappy argument where you're sort of comparing it to like the stock market, but this isn't the stock market. And all cryptocurrencies, you don't have ownership if you own that currency, you know. So I don't know. That was kind of a weird point to make. No duty to the Jasmy token. And I said somewhat not true. So they still have to be compliant with Japanese financial laws. This is true in order to have a listed cryptocurrency, which is why there was no initial coin offering or ICO with Jasmy. There was not ever an ICO, right? So they do have to be compliant, but I think the problem with Jasmy is sort of like growing pains, to be honest. They don't know what they don't know, right? That's what I think. The idea that Jasmy token is overvalued, right? This was brought up. So maybe, maybe not. So Jasmy token does not equal Jasmy the company. You're not buying shares or ownership, Jasmy Co Ltd, and it's not required to disclose anything to you, nor is any other crypto, right? On the other hand, let's compare this to something like Tesla, okay? So not to say that Jasmy and Tesla are anywhere near the same, but there are some similarities at the point I'm making here. So is Tesla overvalued? Has it been overvalued since day one? There's a lot of people that think it's been way overvalued. I mean, it's had higher market cap than Ford, right? Some massive car companies, it's been well above them, right? So some would say yes. Others would say no, because Tesla represents a paradigm shift, much like the PDL does, the personal data locker, okay? I think when it comes down to Tesla, yeah, I was thinking about this. Electric cars were not invented by Elon Musk. He simply took the idea and executed it better than anyone else ever had. That's what he did. That's what he brings to the table, right? Execution. He's got a track record of executing. His companies are, by and large, succeed, right? Whereas, you can look back in time, there's a few accounts like on Twitter that post old historic videos that, show like the first electric car from, 1856. And it's like, well, why didn't that guy make it work, right? Things like that. It's because of execution. Now, things that Jasmy could do now to stop the FUD, right? Letter A, join the Hyperledger Consortium. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Now, this is not my original idea. This came to me from Dip Metaverse, and I think he's right. So the new Jasmy chain is built on Hyperledger, and there is a consortium of all the biggest, most important blockchains are all partners in this thing. They have all the developers. If you want to get on the map, join that group, right? Join the group, whatever it costs. Sign up, join it, get your people involved. They need to make this one happen. I think that's really important. B, focus on replacing Suica. So Suica is the card that they use in Japan to scan to get through the turnstile to go get on the subway and their bullet trains to take them all over Japan, right? The card itself, at least recently, was not being made, right? And you can use your smartphone in place of the card. So you really don't even need the card anymore. Just use a smartphone, right? But how are they securing the data? So that's the big question. And it's not secured, right? There could be a massive hack of Suica and everybody could lose all their data. This is a massive, massive, massive opportunity for Jasmy to be the backbone of Suica. If they could do this, everyone in Japan would use Jasmy just like Ando wants, okay? Everybody would use it. Jasmy could be the secure, decentralized storage answer for Suica. It is a no-brainer. If I was running the company, Jasmy Co Ltd, this would be goal number one, is doing everything we can to become the backbone of Suica, okay? Through that alone, they could hit all their key KPIs, all of them, just through that. They really, really, really need to pursue it, all right? See, we could sell more secure PC laptop units. Yep, definitely sell more as it becomes more popular. D, create a roadmap specific to Jasmy Chain, Jasmy Super Wallet, Jasmy Data Exchange with expectations, timelines, screenshots. So there's multiple partners of Jasmy Chain also, right? It would be nice to see each of them in one place and what they bring to the partnership. Hello? Like, again, this is the marketing side of things. These are things that I would do, right? I'm not in charge. Compile all the patents and all of the news in one place on the website. Bring everything old current. I said that earlier. I think that's a no-brainer. Onboard a marketing manager and a team of blockchain advisors. This could be the ambassador program. This could be a marketing manager. A star. Jasmy's competition, RFOs. Do you think they have a marketing manager? The answer is yes, they do. Okay. So describe Jasmy. So I figured I would do this to help out Jerry and anybody else, if you want to know what Jasmy is. So this is my view of it after following it as long as I have. So the idea behind Jasmy is platinum data, meaning data stored securely and decentralized with a personal data locker or PDL, where the user is compensated for their data through data democracy. The data is then run through Edge AI to provide inferences before being sold to the entity attempting to obtain the data. Jasmy is a paradigm shift from the data model of today that is run by GAFA, which sells unsecured data every day without the knowledge or consent of the user or compensation, right? Platinum data is smart marketing. That's Jasmy in a nutshell. So where does this leave us, right? Is there risk here? Yes, absolutely. Is there risk in all cryptocurrency? Yes, absolutely. Even something like Bitcoin, there are all these great sales pitches in cryptocurrency about decentralization, all these novel ideas, right? Get around the government, right? Mining is highly centralized in Bitcoin, highly centralized. Big players can manipulate the market. Absolutely. Do they? Definitely. Of course they do. Are there any rules? By and large, not really, you know. Is it a global marketplace? Yes. So is there risk in cryptocurrency? Absolutely. Is this buying ownership in a company? No, it's not. There is massive risk here. There's risk in the exchange you're buying from, you know. There's risk in where you're holding your coins. Even if you're storing them in a cold wallet, people get hacked, you know. You could get some BS text on your cell phone that unlocks everything. The NSA here in the US and the FBI, they know how to do this stuff, right? They can get access to anything, anywhere. So is there inherent risk? Absolutely. Of course there is. And that's across the board, not just with Jasmy. Is there more risk than any other cryptocurrencies? Again, yes and no, right? Is there utility here today? No, there isn't. There's no utility. Should there be utility within the next 4.5 months? Yes, there is expected to be utility. So is there risk? Yes. Yes and no, right? Is Jasmy on par with a Pepe or a SHIB? No. I mean, those are complete bogus coins that, you know, started by anonymous founders in a vacuum that are now worth billions of dollars in market cap. I always said all along that if SHIB rug pulled, it would be the greatest rug pull of all time, because all these guys were always anonymous. I don't know if they're still anonymous, but at least they were at the beginning, right? I never bought SHIB for that reason alone. I don't talk about SHIB and I don't promote it, right? But the point is here is that it's a meme coin. Is Jasmy a meme coin? No, it's not. But does it have utility? No. So in a way, it's kind of both at the moment, right? Are there opportunities for improvement? Absolutely, right? All that stuff I listed earlier, these are things that would turn this project around big time. I mean, in a way, you know, for all the hate that Jerry got for posting that video, he brought up a lot of good points. That's kind of like, for somebody who doesn't know this, could they draw these same conclusions? Sure they could, you know. Are there opportunities there to make this a heck of a lot better? Definitely there are. If this was my company and I knew there were points that I thought we could improve upon, I'd want to know the entire list, and then I'd resort that list based on low-hanging fruit, and I would start taking things out easiest to hardest, and we would start going down that list of improvements. I think Jasmy could do this, right? Now, you know, the discussions I had about the ambassador program, it has not lived up to what I thought it would be, okay? Hara has said that he would talk to any of the ambassadors at any time. I had reached out to Hara 5-6 weeks ago to clear up some of this stuff through a AMA. He read the post, never responded. Okay. That's disrespectful. I'm just going to put that out there. Okay. It's disrespectful, and it kind of tells me you're wasting my time. All right. Now, that's how I took it at the time, right? That's just how I saw it. At the same time, I later learned that all the other ambassadors were also reaching out at the same time. Everybody's looking for answers, right? Everyone wants to be on the same page here. And so there's a lot of duplicate work. Then during that whole thing, I also learned about our friend Dip Metaverse going to Japan. And so I know Hara's busy. I know he's got all kinds of people coming into town. I don't understand why they haven't gotten consistent with the ambassador program. And maybe with the answer here, again, I mean, I keep coming back to the same thing. I know I'm right on this. Is there's no marketing manager. He's not a marketing manager, right? He needs to be the financial officer. If they hired a marketing manager, they could coordinate the ambassador program. This whole thing could get a heck of a lot better. So overall, you know, where does it leave us? I still think there's a ton of opportunity. It's never been your traditional blockchain project. Could they post those stats and get out of the innovation zone? Probably. They probably could. These are things that really need to happen, and changes that would be better for Jasmy, because If somebody new is coming to this thing and they don't understand it or they can't get the answers they're looking for, that's problematic, right? It really is. Anybody should be able to look up Jasmy and within 10 minutes have a really good idea of exactly what it is, where it's going, what their goals are, where the current status, the progress is, yada, yada, yada. And I think there's always been a disconnect in the communication, always. That's always been there. And I also think that there is no blockchain expert. Sheng Guo with the team is sort of their blockchain guy, but every other blockchain project has a specific person that's kind of like the face of it. And with Jasmy, that person is Hara, but oddly enough, blockchain is not his wheelhouse. His wheelhouse is accounting. So you can see the conflict that's created, right? So hopefully where it progresses from here, we shall see. I still think it's going to have a pretty good run in the bull market. And I think a lot of that has to do with the DWF Labs, the market maker in particular. Now, what they can do with Jasmy Chain, et cetera, and wallet, still to be determined, right? We need to see this stuff and we need to see it live. Could we get those stats, those real-time blockchain stats, nodes, staking? I don't know. We'll see, right? All that could be coming around the corner. It should be, at least by the end of March. That's the timetable. So anyway, that's it for today's video. I know it's a long one. I know I'm bumping up against an hour here. But really just wanted to break that down and go through it and to say from one YouTuber to another, I'm not here to bash Jerry in any way, shape, or form. More so just to respond to, the various points that were brought up in the video. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.